This is Tyler with TJack Survival. My goofy camera on my head. Anyway, I'm doing a little outing today with Tess. She's up there somewhere. And I'm going to review a prototype Badlands Bushcrafter knife that I helped design along with Derek from XXX Knives. So stay tuned. I hiked myself in today. I decided to go snowshoeing a little bit, and the main purpose for today was to get out into the mountains and test the Badlands Bushcrafter that I helped design with Derek from XXX Knives. So, first off, let's show you this little guy right here. Here's the sheath. I've got it right next to a XXX Nor'easter. Can't remember what that guy's called. Big old huge knife I just did a demo with last week. That video, if it hasn't posted already, will be posting. I think it's January 2nd. So, about this knife, he's using the standard XXX sheath, which I really like these sheaths. They have the dongle, I'm going to call it, that hangs them down lower. You can see that right here. I'm not actually using it on this belt because this is a tactical shooting belt that I'm using on the outside of my jacket. This is my Swazi jacket. And when I do that, I don't need to hang it down low. I prefer to hang it up high. But when I'm hanging this off of a normal belt underneath the jacket, then I hang it down low, and I really like that it gives me options. So, a little bit about this knife. This is the prototype. And there's going to be some adjustments to this knife before we put one out. But in the beginning or mid-January, you should be able to get one of these from XXX Knives. There's a little symbol. Here's my thoughts when I come up with the design for this knife. Let's start with the blade. First off, this is a spear point. Okay? The reason why it's a spear point is because I find myself making a lot of bow drills and hand drills and bushcraft related items with my knives. So I would argue that this is a primitive skills knife or a primitive skills enthusiast survival knife. This is something that you're going to use to make stuff with wood or to skin rabbits or fish or that kind of thing. So having said that, when you want fine motor control and you push this tip into a board, you want it to spin on that tip like a marble rolling across the ground. And the only way that's going to happen is if the point is in the dead center. When you have an offset point, it kind of flops as it spins. So the reason why I gave it this spear tip is so that I can push with the back of my hand like this and get a lot of leverage, or when I choke up high on the blade, I can get an exact center of twisting that's in alignment from the tip to the grommets up the middle. So that's why I chose this spear tip. Also, some of my most favorite knives that I've ever demoed over the last 4 years of demoing with Blade HQ and with my personal channel, they've all got some sort of a spear tip like this. So another attribute that I wanted with this knife is I didn't want it to be very big, because when you have a small knife, you need to be able to choke up high so that you can gut animals with it, and you need to be able to control it very well. So if you grab high like this, you have a lot of control for wedging. And so it's only a 4-inch blade. Now he might make this knife in a larger version, but I purposefully wanted just a 4-inch blade. This also has a flat Scandinavian grind, a 0-point grind. The production model is going to be made out of a proprietary steel that I'm in the process of testing right now. So once I beat the snot out of that steel and make sure that it will work, we'll put this out in a proprietary steel that you will only see with XXX knives. The other thing I wanted with this knife is, let me correct, I needed with this knife, is a solid 90-degree angle on the back of the blade. The reason why you want a 90-degree angle on the back of a bushcraft blade is because then it throws sparks like there is no tomorrow. So let me pull out my striker here. It's my little ember lit fire striker. And with this, always use the back of your blade if you can to use your fire steel. If you're using the front, you're just gonna roll your edge and it destroys the blade. Makes me cringe when I see that. I've even done it in the past, so forgive me. All right, so using the back of the fire steel, you can push with your thumb like this and build up little shavings, little piles, and then what you'll do is you'll put your hand down and pull the fire steel away, and that will drop those, this is getting a little dirty here. So that'll drop those little shavings, and then when it's time to ignite them, you can throw a big old huge spark. And when you've got a good quality fire steel like this ember lit steel and a good quality 90-degree angle knife, you can throw giant sparks. Okay? The other thing is I wanted it to be the full length of the blade. So it has this fire steel that I can throw sparks easily no matter where I run it on the back of that blade. Ooh, that's a big fizzy one. All right. And another thing that you'll end up doing with a bushcraft knife or a primitive skills knife is you'll use this back edge to trim bows for your bow drills or to clean up and process wood with. So anyway, that's pretty much enough on the blade. It should be able to do everything that you want from bushcraft skills, skinning, rabbits, fishing, whatever it is that you need. And where it's 4 inches, it's going to give you a lot of control. So let me talk a little bit about the handle. This handle, I'm debating on whether or not I want to make a larger one. This is a 5-inch long handle. I will probably go 5 1/4, so it'll be just a little bit big. That's because I have like a size 9 or 10 hand, and it fits really well here, but I really want it to be big when I'm choking back on the back of this. So that's still something we'll decide when we're done demoing this prototype. Now, I specifically wanted this in ironwood. That's why it's got the ironwood. And I really didn't want any more of a finger guard than this. I know a lot of people in the US want to see finger guards. A lot of people in Europe don't. And this is why. When I choke high up on a knife, especially when I'm doing a reverse grip, I can get really close on, let me grab a stick here. Okay, I can get a lot of leverage up really close to my hand, and that gives me finite control and an ability to really put a lot of force on the blade, okay? Shaves it up really well. So I didn't want any more than a slight finger guard so that I can choke high, because that's gonna give me a lot of control in what I do, okay? So if I wanted to do like a feather stick or whatever. And the other thing too is I made it kind of an oval shape. It's really hard to see this, but it gives me easier ability to control that when I'm pushing with my pinky finger or my pointy finger, so that when I cut backwards or when I want to cut forward, or if I want to put my thumb right along this level here and slide it to trim stuff, this gives me a huge amount of control. So this is essentially a broomstick type handle. It's oval like an egg, so it's not actually truly round, and again, that's so that I can get lateral control in spinning the blade. All right, so that's the basics of this knife. It is called the XXX Badlands Bushcrafter. I designed it, and Derek from XXX Knives created it. He did a phenomenal job. This is the one and only prototype. I will probably do some minute changes. One change that I'm going to do, it tapers slightly right here. It's going to be the exact length from, or exact width from here to here, so that it rolls more appropriately, and that should cut down on its propensity to slide. I've had wet hands using this and haven't had any issues with the ironwood. You could make this out of micarta. There's a bunch of different handles that you could use in order to prevent slippage, but I have not had any issues with it at all. So anyway, that was a concern that people had. I figure one of the best tests of a knife is to run a bow drill with it. Plus, it's about ready to get dark, so I'm going to try to do a quick fire with a bow drill out here in the snow to get some practice, cook some snow up, and then I'll be headed on my way out. So I took the Badlands Bushcrafter out this fine winter day. I did a bow drill and cooked a little bit of snow to make some more water with my heavy cover canteen. And my initial assessments on this thing is it's just about perfect. I would like a bigger version of it, but I also like this smaller version. This is a 4-inch blade and a 5-inch handle. I think the next one will have a 5¼ inch handle. That's about it. That's the only thing I'm going to change, if that. It performed outstanding. I was able to get up really nice and close and make some feather sticks, do some really tight carving with this thing. I made some sparks with it. It shot sparks out like a mile, man. Made sparks very well. It's really easy to control and to pivot and rotate in your hand. The minute finger guard is just enough to control it when you've got cold fingers in the winter, but not so much that it gets in the road when you're trying to do these really tight carving techniques, little intricate bushcraft type techniques with the knife. So man, this gets a 10 out of 10 for me. Of course, since I designed it, it probably should, so I'm biased, which is fine. Anyway, if you're interested in that blade, I'll leave a link down in the comments section to the XXX website. He hasn't got them out yet, but he will have them out very soon. This one is a prototype. There's nothing else like it. Once we nail down all of the minute details about it, then we'll be able to show you the final product. All right, guys, thank you for watching TJack Survival. Please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you later.